Listen closely. Focus isn't given, it's taken, carved from chaos, forged in silence. The weak drown in distraction. The strong sharpen their attention like a blade. Every second you waste feeds another man's ambition. While you scroll, he conquers. While you doubt, he decides. Focus is the modern battlefield, and most men have already lost, but not you. You're here because you feel the pull of something darker, sharper, the hunger to rise above mediocrity, to see the world as it is, not as you're told. In this world, emotion is leverage, power is perception, and control is the highest currency. Comment, I see through the fog. If you understand, this is not motivation, this is mental warfare. Welcome to Machiavellian mode. Number 1. The law of ruthless elimination. To master focus, you must become merciless with your attention. Every distraction is a dagger aimed at your potential, and most people willingly hand the blade to their enemies. The man who cannot control his inputs will never control his outcomes. Cut out everything that does not push you closer to dominance. The message, the gossip, the idle scrolling, all of it is poison disguised as comfort. Power is not built in motion, it's built in stillness. The predator does not chase every movement in the jungle. He locks on one target and waits in silence. You must do the same with your life. Train your mind to crave depth, not noise. Let go of friends who drain you, environments that weaken you, habits that dull your edge. The path to greatness is not about addition, it's about subtraction. Comment, I eliminate weakness, if you understand this law. Number 2, the law of cold detachment. To focus like a ruler, you must detach like a shadow moving through fire, untouched, unseen, and unshaken. The world will constantly pull at your emotions. People will provoke you just to study your reaction. Failures will sting like poison, and praise will seduce you into a soft, useless comfort. The weak react, the strong calculate. The Machiavellian mind understands this eternal truth. The moment emotion rules reason, chaos takes the throne. Detachment is not indifference. It is the highest form of intelligence, the ability to see things as they are, not as your feelings want them to be. The man who feels everything loses direction. The man who observes everything gains control. When insulted, remain silent. When mocked, smile slightly. When challenged, move with calm precision. Your serenity should be a storm to others. Let your composure become your armor, your discipline, your sword. To the emotional, you will appear inhuman, but that is the point. The detached man cannot be manipulated, cannot be baited, cannot be broken. He studies chaos like a scientist studying a virus, never infected by what he examines. In battle, the calm general sees every move before it happens. In life, the detached man predicts every outcome before emotion blinds him. Detachment makes you dangerous, not because you are heartless, but because you are unshakable. You become immune to rejection, immune to fear, immune to noise. When the world screams, you listen. When the world panics, you breathe. That stillness is your advantage, your weapon, your throne. Power belongs to the man who can stand in fire and not flinch. Become that man. Comment, my calm is my weapon, if you understand this law. Number 3, the law of controlled obsession. Focus is not about balance, it is about domination. Every great empire, invention, and revolution was born from obsession, a burning, merciless fixation on one purpose. The average man chases 10 desires and captures none. The Machiavellian mind locks onto one goal and bends reality around it. Controlled obsession is the furnace of achievement, but control is the key word. Without control, obsession consumes you. With control, it crowns you. You must direct your energy with surgical precision. Live like a man possessed, but disciplined enough to command the storm within. When you wake, think of your purpose. When you rest, dream of your purpose. When you speak, let every word orbit your purpose. The mind becomes powerful when it stops scattering itself. Do not seek variety, seek depth. True mastery is monotony performed with excellence. The weak fear boredom because it exposes their lack of commitment. The strong embrace it because they understand that repetition is ritual, and ritual builds empires. Your obsession should make others uncomfortable. It should intimidate mediocrity. They will call you cold, arrogant, even insane. Let them. The wolf never apologizes to sheep for its hunger. Let your focus devour distraction. When you are obsessed, rejection becomes fuel, doubt becomes sharpening stone, failure becomes instruction. You stop asking for motivation because the mission itself consumes you. But remember, control the fire. Do not let it consume your humanity. You must be both the flame and the hand that holds it steady. The world bends to men who refuse to be casual about their purpose. Those who treat focus like an art form, not a temporary mood, live in such a way that even your silence intimidates those who lack direction. You are not chasing passion. You are building empire through obsession. Comment: my focus is my fire. If you understand this law. Number 4. The law of strategic isolation. Power grows in silence, and silence is born in isolation. Every man who has ever shaped the world has known the value of retreat, not the coward's retreat from challenge, but the strategist's retreat from noise. To become focused beyond comprehension, you must withdraw from the herd. The herd fears being alone because they cannot face the weight of their own insignificance. They drown in constant validation, needing others to confirm their worth. But the Machiavellian mind understands that isolation is not loneliness, it is refinement. When you separate yourself from the world, you begin to hear your own mind clearly for the first time. Isolation strips away illusions. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, your fears, and your ambitions with brutal honesty, and in that confrontation, power is born. The greatest thinkers, warriors, and rulers all understood this law. They built empires in solitude before they commanded armies in daylight. Isolation is the forge where character hardens and distraction dies. You must learn to enjoy your own company as if it were a luxury. Study, train, and plan in silence while the rest of the world wastes time in empty noise. Withdraw not to escape reality, but to redesign it. Strategic isolation means choosing your environment with precision, surrounding yourself only with people, ideas, and energy that sharpen your edge. Solitude is your fortress. Within it, your vision becomes weaponized. Every minute alone is a negotiation with your future self. Most men crumble when left alone because they realize they have no internal empire, no structure, no purpose. But the focused man turns solitude into strategy. He uses isolation to become unpredictable, unreadable, and untouchable. When you re-emerge from the shadows, your mind will cut through the world like a blade forged in silence. Let the world gossip. You are building something too great for their understanding. The man who can thrive in isolation commands himself. The man who commands himself commands everything. Seek silence, cultivate solitude, and use it as your training ground for domination. Remember, lions hunt alone, sheep gather in herds. Comment: my silence builds empires, if you understand this law. Number 5. The law of mental supremacy. The greatest battlefield is not the world around you. It is the mind within you. Every victory, every failure, every fortune, and every downfall begins with the unseen thoughts you tolerate or reject. The Machiavellian mind understands that control over perception equals control over power. If you can master the landscape of your thoughts, you become undefeatable. Most men allow their minds to become playgrounds for fear, doubt, and weakness. They think emotions are facts, but they are merely weather, temporary storms that pass if you do not surrender to them. Mental supremacy begins when you stop identifying with your thoughts and start governing them like a ruthless king governs his kingdom. You must train your inner dialogue to serve your ambitions, not sabotage them. Speak to yourself as you would command an army, clear, direct, and without apology. The mind will resist discipline. It will crave comfort and softness. Deny it both. Starve your weaknesses and feed only the ideas that sharpen your strategy. You cannot think like a slave and live like a king. Every day, test your mental endurance, sit in discomfort, resist impulse, reject the instant gratification that keeps the masses weak. The mind is like iron. Without friction, it rusts. You must grind it daily with pressure, challenge, and silence. Read the words of conquerors, philosophers, and manipulators. Absorb their cold logic, their indifference to pain, their clarity of purpose. Your thoughts should move like soldiers, aligned, precise, disciplined. When you think strategically, emotion becomes a tool, not a master. You learn when to show warmth and when to be ice. You manipulate perception, not through lies, but through controlled presentation. Appear calm even in chaos. Never let the enemy see your mind tremble. The one who loses composure loses control. Mental supremacy also demands an understanding of others' minds. Study human behavior like a scientist dissects a specimen. Learn how people think, what drives them, what breaks them. Use this knowledge not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. In a world ruled by manipulation, awareness is armor. A Machiavellian does not seek fairness, he seeks advantage. Focus sharpens when emotion fades, and power grows when thought becomes disciplined. The man who commands his thoughts commands his destiny. Guard your mind as if it were a fortress. Fortify it with truth, logic, and purpose, and let no weak idea ever breach its walls. Comment, "My mind is my kingdom," if you understand this law. Number 6. The law of psychological warfare. Power begins in the mind long before it manifests in action. The greatest rulers, conquerors, and manipulators understood that the true battlefield is psychological. To win without fighting is the highest form of victory. The Machiavellian does not fight with fists. He fights with perception. He studies emotion as a weapon and logic as a shield. He knows that most men are predictable, guided by impulses they mistake for choices. He manipulates these impulses, bends perception, and engineers outcomes. The essence of psychological warfare is dominance through invisibility. To master it, you must understand that attention is control, and control is survival. Every man is at war for attention, from social media to politics to everyday conversation. The one who dictates where attention flows dictates the outcome of every interaction. Your focus must be sharp, your mind unclouded, and your intent hidden. Speak with purpose, but never reveal everything. The wise man keeps 90% of his power unseen. When people cannot predict you, they cannot defend against you. Study the art of misdirection, how to appear weak when strong, calm when furious, confident when uncertain. People trust appearances more than truth. Therefore, design your image like armor. Make it so polished that no one dares to test what lies beneath. Every word, every silence, every facial expression must serve a purpose. The man who masters psychology no longer needs to prove his worth. He simply influences perception until others create his legend for him. Remember, control of others begins with control of self. The first victory of psychological warfare is silence. Silence makes people nervous. It forces them to fill the void with their own confessions, their own mistakes. When you say less, others reveal more. Let them. Gather data quietly. Information is the purest form of power. The ignorant act, the intelligent anticipate. The Machiavellian sees 10 moves ahead, while his enemies react emotionally to the first. You must learn to read the invisible: tone, hesitation, eyes, posture. Every twitch reveals intention. When you can read human patterns, you are no longer reacting, you are designing. Understand that fear, guilt, pride, and validation control 90% of human behavior. Trigger them strategically. Use praise to lower defenses. Use silence to create tension. Use questions to expose weakness. Never confront directly unless you want resistance. Guide people into traps with their own words. Subtlety is supremacy. Loud men lose leverage. Quiet men control rooms. Psychological warfare is not about cruelty. It's about efficiency. Why fight battles when you can make your enemies destroy themselves? The master manipulator never appears manipulative. His strength lies in patience, in restraint, in his ability to act calm while chaos unfolds. You must learn to be comfortable watching others unravel. Your calmness becomes a weapon, your stillness a trap. Let people underestimate you. Their arrogance is your camouflage. The moment they think they understand you, shift direction, confuse their expectations, distort their perception, and you gain power. The masses crave patterns, predictability, and comfort. Deny them all. When they cannot define you, they fear you. When they fear you, they respect you. And once respect is established, control becomes effortless. Psychological warfare also requires emotional discipline. The moment you lose your temper, you lose your leverage. Anger exposes intent, and intent destroys strategy. Remain cold, emotionless, analytical. Watch others drown in their feelings while you float above them, detached and observant. Learn to manipulate your own emotions before you attempt to influence others. The man who can summon confidence on command and suppress fear at will is already 10 steps ahead of everyone else. Focus, clarity, and manipulation are born from emotional stillness. Control your tone, your rhythm, your gaze. People are programmed to respond to confidence even when it is manufactured. You can make them follow by convincing them you have already won. Power is psychological theater, illusion wrapped in confidence. Remember, the goal of psychological warfare is not destruction, but domination through awareness. You must know your environment, your opponents, your allies, and yourself better than anyone. To rule perception, you must think like a puppeteer and move like a ghost. You must never reveal your motives until the endgame is guaranteed. The one who commands attention shapes destiny. Every man who learns this law becomes unstoppable. Comment: my mind commands the battlefield. If you understand this law. Number 7. The law of emotional transmutation. Emotion is raw energy, and raw energy is unrefined power. Every empire that rose, every genius who endured madness, every conqueror who carved his name into history learned to bend emotion into will. Most men drown in their feelings. A rare few weaponize them. The Machiavellian understands that emotion, uncontrolled, is poison, but harnessed, it becomes jet fuel for ambition. Anger, fear, heartbreak, envy, rejection, all contain voltage. When you master emotional transmutation, you redirect that voltage from self-destruction into self-domination. The weak vent their rage. The strong compress it until it becomes focus. Pain is the universe's test of your discipline. It's not there to break you, but to shape you. You must learn to feel everything without letting it enslave you. Do not suppress anger, study it. Do not run from fear. Confront it until it obeys you. Every emotion is information. When you analyze it, you transform it. The Stoics taught indifference. Machiavellianism teaches manipulation, of self first, of others later. When sadness hits, most men crumble because they expect comfort. You, however, will build clarity from suffering. Sit with your emotions until they reveal their purpose. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Pain shows you where you are weak. Anger shows you where boundaries were crossed. Jealousy shows you what you secretly desire but haven't earned. Every emotion is a map if you know how to read it. To transmute is to channel inner chaos into deliberate order. That's how you multiply focus. When others spiral into drama, you channel energy into execution. Turn anxiety into anticipation, uncertainty into strategy, loneliness into solitude. Every surge of feeling becomes fuel for relentless motion. Imagine a blacksmith hammering iron. Each strike is pain, heat, friction, yet it forges the weapon. Your emotions are the forge. When betrayal comes, don't cry. Convert the sting into a vow of superiority. When life humiliates you, don't escape. Absorb it until humiliation becomes hunger. Emotional transmutation is the unseen ritual of warriors and kings, turning weakness into armor, heartbreak into resolve, rage into empire. The crowd believes mastery means suppressing feeling. Mastery means owning feeling so completely that it cannot betray you. Once you command emotion, external manipulation dies. No insult can wound you. No praise can seduce you. No rejection can derail you. You become internally sovereign, a kingdom of control. You move through storms untouched because you no longer resist the rain. You redirect it. Channel emotion into training, study, strategy, and creation. Every repetition in the gym, every silent hour reading, every sleepless night building is alchemy in motion. Most men beg for peace. The Machiavellian creates it from chaos. The more emotion you transmute, the more dangerous you become, because your energy no longer leaks into reaction. It condenses into precision. When fury burns, let it sharpen your focus. When fear whispers, let it heighten awareness. When despair weighs you down, use it as resistance training for the soul. Emotional transmutation is not spiritual fluff. It's the most practical form of power psychology. Energy cannot be destroyed, only redirected. The question is, who directs yours, you or the world? Control it, and you rise above the herd. Lose it, and you join them. Remember, every emotion either enslaves or empowers, depending on who holds the reins. Choose dominance. Choose direction. Turn heartbreak into legacy, fear into foresight, shame into silence, and silence into supremacy. The men who learn this secret become unshakable. They radiate calm violence, quiet intensity, and unrelenting purpose. When others see chaos, you see opportunity. When others freeze, you adapt. That's transmutation, the art of converting inner fire into external conquest. Feel deeply, but never show the depths. The deeper you feel, the more you can create. The more you control, the more unstoppable you become. This is the hidden furnace behind every Machiavellian mind, the mastery of emotion without mercy, the transformation of pain into power, of feeling into focus, of chaos into command. The world belongs to the man who can feel everything yet remain ruled by nothing. Comment, my pain is my power, if you understand this law. Number 8, the law of controlled perception. Power, at its purest form, is not about what is true, but about what people believe to be true. The Machiavellian mind understands this with precision. Control perception, and you control behavior. Control behavior, and you control destiny. Every empire, every leader, every man who bent the world to his will mastered the art of perception long before he mastered the art of conquest. The average man spends his life begging to be understood, explaining himself to people who don't care, and exposing weaknesses through overexposure. The Machiavellian does the opposite. He crafts his image deliberately, manipulates expectations, and hides truth beneath layers of mystery. Perception is your camouflage and your weapon. Appear calm when furious, humble when powerful, weak when dangerous. The more predictable you seem, the less predictable you become. To dominate perception, you must become a psychological architect. Every gesture, every silence, every reaction builds your myth. People crave simplicity. They want to put you in a box they can define. Never let them. The undefined man is feared because he cannot be measured. Confusion creates intrigue, and intrigue breeds power. Machiavelli wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved, but the modern Machiavellian knows it is most powerful to be misunderstood. When they cannot read you, they cannot anticipate you. When they cannot anticipate you, they cannot control you. Mastering perception begins with awareness of your own presentation. You are always communicating, even when you say nothing. The tone of your voice, the rhythm of your steps, the stillness of your gaze, all transmit messages. Speak rarely but decisively. Let silence make others chase your approval. Your words should feel like currency. Scarce, valuable, impactful. When you walk into a room, never rush to speak or impress. Observe first. Every second of observation builds a database of leverage. To control perception, learn to mirror. People trust those who subtly reflect them. Their ego blinds them to manipulation because they believe you are like them. Adapt your posture, tone, and rhythm to each situation like a chameleon shifting color, not to please, but to disarm. The master of perception plays roles while remaining loyal to no mask. Your image should evolve faster than people can define it. Never explain your intentions. Let results and mystery do the talking. Those who try to prove themselves always appear desperate. Those who let others wonder appear untouchable. Control perception through consistency. Never break character, even under pressure. When you stay calm while others lose composure, the crowd assigns you authority. When you remain polite in the face of insult, they label you superior. Every reaction either builds or breaks your myth. Understand that people don't follow truth. They follow confidence, control, and mystery. Make your actions look effortless. Never show struggle publicly. Display patience, not haste. The illusion of control is often more powerful than control itself. When people think you are always composed, they will hesitate to challenge you. The man who looks unbothered controls those obsessed with reaction. Focus amplifies when your self-image becomes weaponized. You stop wasting energy defending ego and start using perception as leverage. Become your own propaganda machine. Decide how the world will see you, then live as if it's already true. Eventually, perception becomes reality. The disciplined man who acts powerful becomes powerful. The man who appears confident becomes respected. Even weakness, when framed strategically, becomes strength. Admit flaws selectively to appear human, then pivot back to control. Manipulate narratives like a strategist manipulating terrain, always shaping the field to his advantage. If rumors rise, never deny them, redirect them. Mystery grows when you neither confirm nor deny. Let people's curiosity do your work. Your absence should speak louder than others' presence. Disappear at peak moments to amplify demand. Return with silence so heavy that words feel unnecessary. The Machiavellian lives in controlled paradox, visible enough to influence, invisible enough to remain unpredictable. Perception management is focus disguised as strategy. It ensures your attention is never wasted explaining, defending, or chasing. Every ounce of energy goes toward design, not reaction. To master perception is to become the unseen puppeteer in every room, pulling strings without ever revealing your hand. Never seek recognition, command it. Remember, the world sees what you allow it to see. The rest belongs to your power. Control perception and you bend reality itself. Comment, I control what they see, if you understand this law. Number 9. The law of relentless discipline. Discipline is the ultimate equalizer, the silent force that turns ordinary men into sovereigns and dreamers into dominators. Every empire, every fortune, every revolution has its roots buried in relentless discipline. Talent fades, motivation dies, but discipline endures like steel under fire. The Machiavellian man knows this truth. Consistency is control, and control is the foundation of all power. Focus without discipline is fantasy. To increase your focus by 200%, you must forge a life that worships routine, precision, and order. The average man is ruled by mood. The superior man is ruled by system. He does not wait for motivation. He acts, even when exhausted, angry, or uninspired. That is the difference between amateurs and masters. Discipline is not glamorous. It is warfare with the self. Every morning you rise when your body resists, you conquer weakness. Every time you delay pleasure, you sharpen willpower. Every sacrifice compounds into invisible dominance. Machiavelli said, it is not titles but virtue that creates greatness. And discipline is the highest virtue of all. You must structure your environment to make success inevitable. Remove temptation, design ritual, weaponize repetition. The mind becomes unstoppable when its habits align with its mission. Discipline is focus made visible. The man who adheres to order while others chase distraction eventually becomes untouchable. Remember, chaos destroys consistency, and inconsistency destroys credibility. You must become a machine of execution, unshaken by emotion, undistracted by comfort. Most men quit when the path becomes tedious. The Machiavellian tightens his focus and moves twice as hard. He understands that boredom is not failure, it is proof of progress. Those who chase excitement live as slaves to impulse. Those who embrace monotony master destiny. Discipline creates predictability, and predictability creates control. You must build routines so deeply ingrained that they become instinct. Train daily, study daily, plan daily. Execution is not about effort, it is about pattern. Every act of discipline is a declaration of dominance over chaos. When you eat clean, train hard, read deeply, and execute relentlessly, you separate yourself from 99% of men who drown in self-indulgence. Discipline is freedom in disguise. It frees you from emotion, weakness, and distraction. The disciplined man becomes feared because nothing can sway him. Pain does not break him. Comfort does not seduce him. His focus slices through every obstacle because he has trained his mind to obey command. Discipline turns ordinary decisions into empire-building rituals. It teaches you patience, precision, and self-respect. Every goal you achieve begins as a habit you refused to break. The man without discipline is a puppet of pleasure. The man with it is the author of his world. When fatigue whispers, discipline answers. When fear creeps in, discipline moves forward. When temptation calls, discipline stays silent. The Machiavellian warrior does not celebrate small victories. He integrates them into a greater conquest. He knows that routine is not repetition, it is refinement. Every day, he sharpens his craft, his mind, his power. He becomes inevitable. Discipline is the invisible empire you build before the visible one rises. Comment, I am the weapon of my will, if you understand this law. Number 10. The law of unshakable purpose. Purpose is the throne of the mind, the single axis upon which every act of focus, discipline, and dominance revolves. Without it, even the strongest man crumbles, chasing fleeting victories that vanish with time. The Machiavellian man knows that a life without purpose is a life easily manipulated. The masses wander, chasing pleasure, approval, or escape, but the man of purpose walks a straight line through chaos. His direction terrifies those who have none. To possess unshakable purpose is to walk through fire without blinking, to face uncertainty with a steady pulse and a cold gaze. Purpose gives clarity, and clarity gives power. When you know what you stand for, distraction loses its grip. Every decision either feeds your purpose or starves it. You must become obsessed with alignment. Your actions, your time, your environment must all orbit your mission. Purpose is not passion, it's not excitement. Passion fades, excitement dies, but purpose endures like iron beneath the storm. It's the voice that commands you to keep building when no one is watching, the force that lifts you when your body collapses. Machiavelli taught that all power must serve an objective, for chaos without direction destroys itself. Your objective must be immovable, unnegotiable, defined by your own values, not society's, not emotions. When you act from purpose, fear dissolves. Failure becomes feedback, pain becomes fuel, and success becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. The world respects the man who knows his direction because such a man cannot be controlled. He cannot be bribed with pleasure or broken by pain. Purpose is immunity. It shields your mind from noise and your spirit from decay. The purpose-driven man becomes a force of inevitability. People sense his presence before he speaks. His focus cuts through temptation like a blade through silk. His willpower infects others. His silence commands respect. To find your purpose, look to what angers you, what challenges you, what demands to be fixed through your existence. The answer is often hidden in what you cannot tolerate. Once you discover it, vow loyalty to it above all else. Every day, recommit to that mission. Purpose will make you lonely, but loneliness is the tax of greatness. It will test your patience, but patience is the ally of destiny. You will be misunderstood, but mystery is armor. Live, act, and breathe as if your life is a weapon pointed toward your ultimate objective. Purpose makes you immortal long before death arrives. Comment, my purpose makes me untouchable. If you understand this final law,